anyway, it was really, oh, I'm telling you, I wouldn't trade from the day I can say that I knew who I was. I wouldn't trade with anybody in the whole world.
Well, how do you keep so happy? What's your Did your dad teach you something, or what?
No, it's just in me. See, I was my dad's pet. My dad, no matter who he went to visit, and in our house there were 8 children, and my mother was always they were always gonna have a baby. And when Sunday come, my mother would doll me up, and my dad was gonna visit the Franeys, the Gateleys, the Tuckers, and they were, one family lived from the west side out there, clear out way over here on the other side of Union Avenue. And the Sunday that my dad was going to visit that family, because my dad had come from Ireland, and he knew their relatives in Ireland. And my mother would doll me up on a Sunday, and long curls and pretty white dress, and my dad would take me by the hand, and we'd go over to the Franey's house, and they'd treat me, and I was just a little shrimp, they'd treat me like I was a queen. I was Mamie Harold. They kissed and hugged me and handed me cookies. I sat there, I didn't have a word to speak, but my dad and these friends that came from Ireland would talk. When I think of it now, it is so beautiful. All that, from that big that I can remember, going and listening to these people talk. They'd come from Ireland, and my dad had been born in Ireland, but after he moved to Oregon and got married and had us children, and like I say, there were 8. There were 8 in my family.
You were the oldest, right?
Yes, the same as there is in my family. There's, I have 8. And the same when I was the oldest of 8, and my mother would doll me up on Sunday, and my dad would take me by the hand.
Did your dad speak Irish?
Huh?
Did your dad speak Irish?
Oh, he was born in Ireland.
But did he talk Gaelic?
No,
he didn't?
but no. They don't. Well, he could if he wanted to, but when I first met my dad, I was their first baby. When my dad and mother got married, I was the first baby.
Did he ever tell you any stories about the leprechauns and all that stuff?
Well, once in a while. I knew a few of them about.
Yeah.
But he had friends in Ireland. He had lots of friends in Ireland, and once in a blue moon we'd get a letter. And of course, when I was born, when my dad got married to my mother, who was a beautiful lady, Ann McLaughlin, they lived in the farm there at Sylvan. That's where the big farm there, that's where my grandparents lived when my mother and father got married and all. But I knew her name as well as I knew my own. And my dad, we were all, like I say, there were 8 in my family, and it seemed like and my dad had said, well, take Mamie, and my mother would doll me up, and we'd go on the streetcar. And once or twice we came, and I thought that we were going to never ever get off the streetcar till the next day, and it happened. It was right over here on Union Avenue. It was just a dirt road that you went to Vancouver, a certain distance to the end, to the river here, and then there's a bridge across the Columbia River that no streetcar crossed it, see. You could walk across the bridge, but there's no streetcar could go across because it was just a rickety old wooden strip, and it ended. But then finally they built part of the river, wooden bridge, that you could go part of the bridge. And then they finally got the iron part in that made the bridge complete across the Columbia River. And eventually, of course, they built the great big one that they have there now. But that's, see, when you think of my age.
How old are you now?
1888.
You're 97.
Yeah. Going on 97, August. Next August, I believe. Wouldn't trade places with the whole world.